Hello everyone, I'm Brut Code. I'm a 14-year-old developer. Welcome to Brut Code, and in this channel you learn Web3 coding from a 14-year-old guy. Hello everyone, you're watching Brut Code, and in today's video we are going to learn about Hardhat. So if you haven't watched my previous videos, please get to watch them because in those videos I have explained you all about the tools used by Web3 developers to develop dApps. In the last video, I think I had covered about truffle, and I had actually discussed about Hardhat, and I have given the introduction already, but I would do again in this video. Let's get started. So I'll just shift to my browser. So this is the main website of Hardhat, hardhat.org, and you see flexible, extensible, and fast Ethereum development environment for professionals. So basically, Hardhat is a tool used by Web3 developers to compile smart contracts, to deploy them on chains, local chains like the Hardhat node or the mainnet or the testnets like Rinkeby, Goalie, etc. Basically, Hardhat provides you first-class debugging facilities, so you can easily debug with Hardhat. You can easily check your smart contract security, and also you can add extensions. So if you go here, you can see plugins, but we'll come back to this later. So for now, let's install Hardhat on our system. I'll be doing it with npm, which is a package manager for Node.js. So if you have not installed Node.js, please install it. You can go to nodejs.org. If I go to nodejs.org, you can get the latest version of Node.js over here, and that would be it. Okay, so if I spin up a terminal and if I type the node version, or instead of node I can type npm. So let me just open up this. So if I type my node version, so I have currently installed version 16.18.1. So my Node.js version is version 16.18.1, and if I check my npm version, it's 8.19.2. So something to remember in mind is that currently Hardhat does not support the latest version, which is Node.js 19. So you need a lower version. So you can take version 16.18, or version 18 is also compatible. So I'll just initiate another project over here. If I make that a directory into the coding folder, and inside that if I just name this as hard, and if I go into this folder, so basically first what we'll be doing is initializing an empty Node.js project. So npm init, package name hard, version 1.1, description testing hardhat, entry point will be hardhat.config.js, and test command would be npx hardhat compile, and git repository currently nothing, keywords nothing, author, well, the channel's name, license should be MIT, and this should do our job. If I just remove this warning over here and clear the screen so that you can see, if I list, so you see we have a package.json, and now we can install the package as hardhat. So now this is going to install Hardhat. Basically, it will take a minute or two. If you have installed Node.js recently, it may take some time, and till this works out, uh, I would just pause the video.
One eternity later.
Okay, so Hardhat is installed, and if I just list, you can see we have the node modules folder, and uh, the package lock and the package.json. So now if I run npx hardhat, we should get a prompt saying what do we have to do. So what do you want to do? Create a JavaScript project, create a TypeScript project, or create an empty hardhat.config.js. We would like to go with the JavaScript project, and the project root would be the same, and git ignore should be yes. And do you install sample projects? Yes. So this will install Hardhat toolbox. So let me just search for Hardhat toolbox. This is over here. So Hardhat toolbox plugin bundles all the commonly used packages and Hardhat plugins we recommend to start developing with Hardhat. So Hardhat toolbox is a collective package which contains tools, which contain these many packages. So it contains ethers library from Hardhat. So this is ethers, but mixed with Hardhat, added bling and added features. And then it also has Hardhat Etherscan, which is just a library by which you can verify your smart contracts on Etherscan. So if you want to deploy your smart contract on testnets like GreenKB, Goali, and you don't want to go and compile your bytecode and then verify your ABI, you can just use this library and it will automatically do it for you. Then we have Hardhat Gas Reporter, very useful in debugging. You can check the gas prices of various function calls. Then we have Solidity Coverage, which checks the security of the smart contract, and it also installs type chain Hardhat. So this is for people who are using TypeScript, but we are not using, so this package is not for us. So if I just shift here, so it's installing currently, and till it installs, let's look at the plugins over here. If I go to plugins, you see Hardhat Toolbox, which is currently installing, which is a collective package of tools as I stated before. Then we have Hardhat Chai Matchers, Hardhat Ethers, Etherscan, Vipers, Solhint, Sol, PP, Waffle, Ganache. So we also have Hardhat Ganache, Hardhat plugin for managing Ganache. So you can also use Hardhat with Ganache by this plugin. We have Hardhat Web3, Truffle, and I think let me just search over here. So there was this plugin called as Hardhat React. Let me just search like this, Hardhat hyphen React. So yes, this is the plugin which I am talking about, Hardhat React. So if you are using your front end with Hardhat, you can use this library. So it will create a hook for your React app to get an instance of your smart contract. So if you look down over here, you can import these plugins. So these are the plugins which you have to import. Then you have the front end, and if I just scroll down, uh, here is the here is how you do it. So you have to import the symphony, and then you have to import the context of your smart contract in the front end, and you are ready to go. And if I check the package installation status, so this is installed. If I clear the screen for us to see, and if I just okay, so if I list, you see we have contracts, hardhat config.js, readme.md, scripts and test. So basically, if I just so if I open up VS Code, and here it is. Yes, I trust. And if I just go to the coding folder, which I have over here, and we go to the hard folder, and you see we have contracts in which we have log.sol. So this is a test contract written by Solidity already. So this is unlicensed, it uses 0.8.9, and it is a basic contract with unlock time, and this is basically a contract which locks your ether, and you cannot withdraw it before a certain timestamp. Then you have the scripts folder where your deploy script is written. So if I just close this, you see we are requiring hard hat over here. Then we say current timestamp in seconds, mat.round, date.now. So this just says that the current time, 1 year in seconds is 365 days multiplied by 24 hours multiplied by 60 minutes multiplied by 60 seconds, and then unlock time is equal to current times. So this is just the basic maths of the smart contract. Then locked amount is equal to 1 ether. So this will lock 1 ether for the amount of time 1 year, and then it will check lock with 1 ETH, and unlock timestamp is this deployed to this address. And then we have the test folder where we have the test written. So this is actually the main magic of Hardhat. You could write test over here, so you can import over here, and then you see there's a sample test written for us, and it's pretty long. So you can see each and every type of test written over here. Each and every type in which a test can be written is written over here. You see the hardhat config.js where you have the Solidity version, and you can also specify the networks over here. Then that's all. So if I just open up another terminal, and if I go into the coding folder, So to compile your smart contracts, you just need to type npx hardhat compile, and it should compile your smart contracts. And if you want to deploy it on the local blockchain, you can run scripts slash the name of the file, which is deploy.js, and it should deploy your smart contracts on the local Hardhat chain. So currently I would not be deploying it. Currently we are interested in the tests. So if we run npx hardhat tests slash, and if I just put the name of the file, which is lock.js, or if I just run npx hardhat test. So if you run this command npx hardhat test, it would run all the functions in this file, which is this lock.js, and it is now testing. So it is downloading the compiler version 0.8.17, and it would basically take a minute or so because 0.8.17 is not installed on my system. And till this happens, let's take a look at the test file. So you see we have described a block over here called lock. So lock block has a function which says deploy 1 year lock fixture, which has some maths calculations, and then we have owner and the other account, and we get some accounts from the ethers library. Then we get the contract instance, and then we deploy the smart contract with the value of the locked amount, and then we return these many parameters. So we return the lock, the unlock time, the locked amount, the owner, and the other account. Next, if we see the describe deployment, so this is the deployment block, and then we have defined some parameters that should be true for this to run. So you see should set the right unlock time, and it will wait for this function, which is deploy 1 year lock fixture. So this is basically a function which will run every time before any of the tests happen. So deploy 1 year lock fixture, and this is basically the instance of the lock contract. So earlier when Hardhat was old, in the older times, we used another lock called before each, and now it is changed to this function type. And then there are blocks such as withdrawals, etc. And if you run the npx hardhat test over here, so currently my compiler is not downloaded. So compiled once already file successfully, and now it's testing. So yes, it's testing the log deployment, and it is testing this block over here deployment, and it should set the right unlock time, should have a green tick over here, should set the right owner, should have a green tick, should receive and store the funds to lock, should have a green tick. So these all should have a green tick over here. So you see here we have 9 passing tests in 25 seconds. Would you like to install Hardhat for Visual Studio Code extension? This is suggesting it adds advanced editing assistance for 32 Visual Code. So yes. uh okay, so this is done. So first of all, it downloaded the compiler. Then we have the test written over here. So this function, which is lock, and we see deployment should get set the right unlock time is done, and it takes this much time. Should set the right owner, should receive and store the funds to lock. So everything is passing. Should fail if the unlock time is not in the future. Should revert with the right error if called too soon. Should revert with the right. So these all tests pass, and here are the times. So if I just run hardhat compile, so it should compile the smart contract now as it did over here. And after that we can run the deploy script, and it should deploy to the local ganache local hardhat node. So that was all for hardhat, and you see nothing to compile over here. And if I run hardhat run scripts slash deploy.js, so slash deploy.js, and now it should deploy a smart contract to the hardhat node. So if you don't know, hardhat is an internal node, it does not need ganache. If I just remove these warnings over here and here also, and if I say np So if I just go into the folder before doing anything, npx hardhat node. So this should spin up a hardhat local node, and this should deploy the smart contracts on another node which is running. So in order to deploy this smart contract on this node, you can specify it in the hardhat config.js. So if I go into hardhat config.js, you could type here networks colon, and here you see I just add a comma, yes, and you have to type here hard hat. I think it's hard hat something, and this should this is basically it. So this adds the hard hat network. So this just basically means this just points out to this node, and the deploy script is taking much time. So a few times this happens. If you're using hardhat for the first few times, it may take some time, it may lag on your system. It depends on your system settings. It depends on the operating system you're using, etc. And this was all for hardhat. If you run this command, it should return a statement. So if you just see here, if I go into scripts and deploy.js, it should say lock with 1 ETH and unlock timestamp at the unlock time. So this should be time over here, and then we have the deployment address over here, lock.address. So if you run this on your machine, you may get it fast. Now I'm recording, so this may be a bit laggy. So that was all for today's video. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, please subscribe to our channel and follow me on Twitter. Bye bye.